This is my Nintendo Switch collection of over 200 games. I've spent so much money. The Nintendo Switch is 8 years old now, and in console years, that's pretty much time to retire. It's not like the Switch did poorly either. It's not only Nintendo's most popular console, but one of the longest lasting ones, even beating out the NES, which only lasted 7 years. It's seen a lot of games added to its library, many good, some bad, and a few weird ones. While I did not start my Switch journey until 2018, and really ramped up collecting in 2023, I managed to get in quite a lot of the Switch catalog over the years. So much so that I made a video about it a year ago. It did pretty well, and guess what? My collection has over doubled since then. It's gotten so big that I had to get a new shelf. I put it together myself. If you look closely, you can even see the hole I caused when it fell on my head. I think I'm okay. So just like last time, we're going over my entire Nintendo Switch collection, each and every game, and my thoughts on them. When I bought it, whether I liked it or not, whether I think it's worth playing again, maybe even some stories or behind the scenes stuff. And if you see any of these games and think, random, you should make a video about that. Well, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what games you want me to make videos for. All right, this is gonna be a long one. Let's go over this collection. Well, before we start the collection, let's go over the Switch itself. I have the Splatoon 3 OLED, the same one I had last year. I don't really exchange my Switches much. Besides, this one's probably one of my favorites. The original Switch I had in 2018, that's in my nephew's house now. One of my nephews is playing it, and I hope he enjoys it. And I hope it's just not sitting in a closet somewhere, never to be played. Let's take a look at the game, shall we? I have these arranged alphabetically on the shelf because I'm a nerd. So we're gonna go through each and every one, and we have a lot to go through, so let's get started. Starting with the greatest launch title of all time, 1-2 Switch. So fun fact, even though I bought this game, I haven't played this exact copy. I've only played this game twice from what I remember. I played it once with my boss. We were in a very slow shift. No one was in the store at the cell phone company I worked at. And he just busted out his Switch. And we played a couple games on it, had a little fun, and then we stopped. The other time I played it was at an arcade in New Jersey. And you could rent a couch and a TV to play certain games on. And the friend I was with really wanted to play 1-2 Switch. So we rented the TV for a bit, played a couple of games of 1-2 Switch, and then we got bored with it and put it away. This game should have been a pack-in title. I don't know why it wasn't. I really feel like if this was a pack-in title, I don't know if the Switch would have sold more units, but it would have been nice to have something to play with right on your Switch. But no, they stole this. They sold this for like $50, $60. I still don't think it's worth it to this day. If you can get it like dirt cheap, get it. But otherwise, don't bother. Another game with numbers, 13 Sentinels. I never played this one. I've always been intrigued by Vanilleware's art style and just how cool their games look. So this one was no exception. I was able to get a copy of it pretty cheap on sale. I've always been somewhat interested to play this, but now with Unicorn Overlord and playing that, oh my god, this is much higher on the radar. Vanillaware makes some damn good games. So yeah, definitely want to try this one out. A Boy and His Blob Retro Collection. I got this from Limited Run as a blind box. I think they just had where you could just like buy complete mystery boxes, and I thought I'd take a chance and get one, and this was the game I got. I've never heard of A Boy or His Blob or anything like that, and I'll be honest, it's definitely on the lower interest of things to play, but maybe it's good. I don't know. A Hat in Time. I got this at a retro game store, and I have a friend who swears by how good it is. Like, it is one of their favorite indie games of all time, and it looks really cute. It reminds me of like a platformer on the N64 or GameCube. It gives me actually a little bit of Sunshine vibes if I think about it. I know there's Mafia members, there's a hat girl, there's a train conductor, there's this weird shadowy thing on the bottom. I don't, that's all I really know about it. A Space for the Unbound. I played this game, I just never really finished it. It was a game I was streaming for a while, and then for some reason or another, I just put it down. I thought it was going to be like this love story in Indonesia. Does it take place? I thought it was just this love story that took place in Indonesia, but there's actually some supernatural elements to it, and It's a really cool indie game, and if that's your thing, definitely give it a shot. It's worth a shot. Also, fun fact, I ordered this from Video Games Plus, and I guess I accidentally ordered 2 copies, or they gave me a second copy, so I actually own 2 copies of this game, so whoops. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Ace Attorney is a series I've always wanted to try, and I've literally owned every single physical version of it I can, but I've still never played it. I want to, but I don't want to start with this one. You play as Miles Edgeworth, and I think he's the rival of Phoenix Wright and Ace Attorney. I don't know. It seems cool, and it's apparently a little different from the main games. I like the art style, and I got it not only because of that, but also because people have been wanting a collection like this for years, so yeah. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Oh, this game went through some hell of a trouble. I remember when they first announced it, then certain events happened, and then they delayed it all the way until 2023, and they just kind of shoved it out there and then kind of forgot about it, which is a shame because it's a great tactics game. It has a lot of personality and style. It has a great amount of challenge. I love the animation that looks like toy soldiers. I love the characters and their lines. It's a faithful remake to the Game Boy Advance games, and I don't think it sold too well, unfortunately, which is a shame. AI The Somnium Files and AI The Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. These 2 games seem really cool to me. I think they're visual novels that I kept seeing around TikTok when I downloaded the app. And they're weird, but they're cool, and I have a friend who swears by how good they are. And also, it was very hard to get physical copies. So once I got that, I got it. I was able to get them at Video Game Plus for a decent price. I know for a while they were really expensive. These are games I definitely want to try out, and they're definitely on the list. I don't know if I could say the title of this game. I literally just got this on Amazon. It was $18, the special edition. I was like, you know what? What's the harm? Let me just add this. I have not opened this. I don't know if I should open this. I'm definitely don't know if I should make a video about this. I'm gonna put this away now. Although I will say, this is not the only type of game like this in my collection. We'll get to those later. The Angry Video Game Nerd 1 and 2 Deluxe. I have grown up with James Rolfe and the Angry Video Game Nerd. Hell, without him, you may not even see videos like this, mine, or any others today. He was a pioneer for internet content creation, if you think about it. So I felt like I had to get this game. I got a copy of it on Amazon for cheap. I don't know anything about it otherwise, but it features a lot of some characters in his videos. I see the pickle and a few other things and references. It seems like fans of Angry Video Game Nerd would enjoy it. Animal Crossing New Horizons. My God, the game that saved us during 2020. Funny enough, I originally bought this digitally, but I got a physical very recently. This game took hours of my life. Hours. And I adore it very, very much. However, I feel it's boring nowadays, burnt out by it, and it's just lost a lot of the luster it had when it first came out. Whether because of lack of updates or the fact people played it so much, I don't really know, but I don't play it nearly as much as I used to. Animal Well. I thought this game was going to win Best Indie Game because it seemed like one of those like artsy indie games that would really do well. And I even played it, actually. I never beat it though. It's fine. It's one of those games where it doesn't hold your hand and you just figure it out by doing. And I feel like it does that job a little too well, where it gets to the point where I'm just lost and directionless, especially when I have to backtrack. Backtracking is very annoying in this game. Other than that, it has some unique puzzles. The pixel art design is fantastic. It's some great stuff about it. But there's a reason why it didn't win Best Indie Game of 2024. Another Code, Recollection. I am glad I got this game and gave it a shot. I was intrigued by it when it was first revealed in the Nintendo Direct. I liked the first game better than the second, in my opinion. I feel the first game is tighter, has a lot more unique and interesting puzzles. It's all set in the mansion, so it has this creepy vibe to it. And the story is just overall tighter. The second game is fine. It takes place in late Juliet. It's a lot brighter, more colorful, more chill and relaxed until the very end. I feel like there's a lot of fluff. The voice acting is a bit wonky. While it's not perfect, In the first game, it's not nearly as bad because it's just Ashley and like a few other people. However, in the second game, there's a lot more voice actors, a lot more teen drama, and just a lot more like weirdly read lines. Like I feel like the voice direction could have just done a lot better. But if you like puzzle games or if you grew up with the DS version, I feel you might like this game. If you can get a copy of it. I heard this is actually pretty hard to get a physical copy of. Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. Another Ace Attorney game that I have not played, but I still added to my collection. I tell you, one of these days I'll play these games, and then I'll be able to play all of them back to back to back to back physically. Until then, it's staying on my shelf, sealed. Arcade Spirits. So fun fact, I forget how I came into contact. My friend Scarlett Hellion, an old streamer friend of mine, was playing this game, and I was really intrigued by it. And I eventually got in contact with the devs, where they would give me a copy to play on Steam. And I loved it. I thought it was a cute visual novel. I liked the art a lot. It had some good themes and stuff. And again, it was about like making choices with your own arcade and of course dating people. And I really liked it. And I realized years later I never had a physical copy, even though I made a video about the Switch version. It was one of my earliest videos. So I found it online and I got it pretty cheap, and now it's sealed in my collection to remember the times I had with it. ARMS. I was late to the party with this one. I didn't wind up playing it until the free trial happened around 2020 when Min Min was released for Smash Brothers. And I really fell in love with it back then, so much so I made a video about it. I actually wound up buying it digitally right then and there, but I wound up getting a physical copy for pretty cheap at a local game store. I believe it was Killscreen Games. And it was funny because I've seen it there multiple times, so nobody wanted to pick up a physical copy of ARMS. It's okay, ARMS. I adore you. Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore. This is a limited run copy I got from the game. It's basically takes the CDI style of animation, and they made a game of their own on it. It's very faithful to the CDI games, making tons of references, but it also plays like a Metroidvania almost, where you go around getting different like upgraded abilities in order to unlock new places and vice versa, trying to get the Jewel of Faramore from the evildoer whose name I can't remember. It's a really good game, and honestly, if I were to redo my top 10 list, I would have put this at number 10. Probably one of my favorite indie games of the year. Astral Chain. I still haven't played this game yet. I want to. It's made by Platinum Games, and I heard so many great things about it. I don't think a sequel's ever happening because of how Platinum is right now, but maybe. It's just one of the games I've always wanted to try just because it looked cool. I know nothing about it otherwise, but it's on my list. Astroneer, a game where you play as an astronaut, and I know nothing more than that, other than it was a game a few of my friends streamed, just sort of like a chill and cozy game. Maybe I'll try it. I saw a bundle of the Alteria Ryza games, 1, 2, and 3. I've always been intrigued. I think they're like farm sim meets life sim and RPGs. And I'm not gonna lie, I love both of those things. And I definitely want to try them out. I think I was able to get the whole trilogy on file through Video Games Plus, and they look cool. They're still sealed. It looks adorable, and I definitely want to try them out. Oh, this is on the list for sure. Balan Wonderworld. I heard this game was awful. I literally got it for $11. That's how bad it was. I got it at a Best Buy for 11 bucks. Maybe I should cover this game for a video because of how bad it is. It's like hilariously and mediocrely bad. That's all I know about it other than that. But I definitely want to make a video about this. Maybe this year? Who knows? Balatro, the indie hit of last year. I wound up getting it through gold points, funny enough. And getting the game digitally for free, and just really falling in love with it so much, and so did everyone else. Apparently, everyone loved this game so much from the beginning of the year, in fact, all the way to the end. And eventually, when physical copies came out, I had to get one for the collection. It left that much of an impact. I still play this game occasionally, and I still know many friends who are addicted to the game to this day. Definitely worth trying out if you like roguelikes or card games. Baldo, the Guardian Owls. I know nothing about this. I just found this in Killscreen and just got it because it looked interesting, and I thought maybe I'd try it out one day. Other than that, the cover art looks cool. Other than that, that's all I know. Baton Kaitos 1 and 2 remastered. These were originally on the GameCube and made by Monolith Soft, the same people who made Xenoblade Chronicles. And I've always wanted to try this game. It also involves cards in some way. That's all I really know about it. And fun fact, this actually is an imported copy. They didn't make physical versions in the US, just in like Japan and maybe Europe. So this is a Japanese copy I got from PlayAsia. I could have gotten it digitally, and I almost did, but I'm a physical guy. I always want to get physicals whenever I can, even if it means buying them from around the world. Bayonetta 1, 2, and 3. I have the entire trilogy, funny enough, because I wanted to play the original trilogy. In fact, I was going to cover the original trilogy in 2023 for a video series. I did this because I thought 2023 was going to be a slow year. That obviously was not the case. Meanwhile, 2023 is one of the biggest and arguably one of the best Switch years ever, and my Bayonetta idea just kind of got shelved. It's on the list of things to do. I want to cover all 3 of these games, but it's gonna have to wait a bit. Bayonetta Cerza and the Lost Demon. I got it during the cheap Switch games video I made. This was the one when I went to Kill Screens and they gave me that shirt. Other than that, I don't really know anything about it. I just know it takes place before the events of Bayonetta when she's younger. And there's the Cheshire Cat. It looks like a fun game, just I don't know if I'd be into it. Beacon Pines. These devs for the game contacted me through email back when this was just being worked on, and they asked me to play the demo on Steam. And I was like, you know what? Let me do that. This game looks up my alley. I think I'd like it. And I wound up loving it. It basically Winnie the Pooh meets Stranger Things. It's a very cute game, but has like a mystery where you can like choose the outcome based on like words. It's a choose your own adventure book with some cool themes to it. And I really like it a lot. And eventually Limited Run made physical copies for it. So if you're looking for a cute indie game that has some strange elements to it, try out Beacon Pines. Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. I heard this game was good, and I wanted to play it. I own it digitally. I own it physically. I just haven't had the time. I want to try it. I heard so many good things about it. I know one of my mods, Wapiti, raves about it. They love how good it is, but I just haven't had time to play. I really want to, though. It's just deep down in the backlog. The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, I think it's called. I could be wrong. This is basically a roguelike that reminds me of like a 2D Zelda or top-down Zelda almost, where you play as Isaac, and it's very disturbing and gory and gross. But this was one of the first physicals on Switch. Oh, there's stickers inside. This was one of the first physical copies of Switch. I got this pretty late. I either got it at Kill Screen or I got it at another store. I really thought it was a cool find. And one of these days, I will play Binding of Isaac. It's on this very long list. We're only in B. The BioShock Collection. I've never gotten into the series, but I heard so many great things about the trilogy. And I remember it going on the Switch, and I thought, really? Interesting. And eventually, I got it on sale for pretty cheap sometime or during the holidays last year. So maybe I'll give it a shot. I honestly forgot I owned this one. Ooh, one with a special case. Yes, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I actually backed this game on Kickstarter years ago when it got first announced, and it looked pretty cool. And originally, I forget if they were promising a Wii U version, but eventually they promised a Switch version. I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get this. And the Switch version turned out to be not that great, honestly. It was one of my very oldest videos. And while it's fine, I just know it ran pretty poorly. I really hope it's gotten worked on and it's gotten better, but I really don't know. I haven't played it since I made a video about it all those years ago, back in 2019. Wow. But it has a cool little case, so that's nice. Bravely Default 2. I played a bit of Bravely Default 1 on... It was the DS or the 3DS? I don't remember. But I didn't get too far with it when I did, and I didn't even open this one. I literally just got this because it was on sale on Nintendo's online store. And I was like, you know what? Maybe get this for the collection, because you never know. If there's any game that's probably gonna be harder to get once the Switch 2 comes out, it's probably Bravely Default. I could probably get a Mario game anytime I wish. Bug Snacks. This is a weird one, and I've played a bit of it. Only the beginning, though, because I wanted to get footage of Bunger for my top 10 foods in gaming video. It's adorable, but it's also kind of creepy if you think about it, because sure, there's these adorable food monsters, but you capture them, but also people eat them and their body parts become the food. It's really disturbing, but it's kind of cute. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I was literally playing this very recently. A video might be coming soon about it. It's a very interesting game, a lot different than other Mario games, more puzzle focused. You can't jump. You have to move the camera around to see where you're going and just make sure that Captain Toad doesn't die as you collect gems and stars. It's a very interesting game, although I feel like it was made for the Wii U, and while it works fine on the Switch, and this is technically the definitive version, I still think it was made for the Wii U, and it kind of shows. Cadence of Hyrule, a collab between the Crypt of the Necrodancer developers and the Zelda team, where they made an indie game with Link and Zelda in it. It's a really cool idea, and while I haven't played it, it looks so fun, especially if you're into rhythm games of any kind. Plus the fact that an official collab of Zelda with an indie game, that's so cool! You don't really see this happen often. Cassette Beast. This is an alternative to Pokemon. It's basically... that's all I really know about it. You collect beasts, but you use cassettes to collect them, maybe? I don't really know other than that. I just was on my list. It just seemed like a very cool indie game to play. But like a lot of cool indie games, buy it for sale on digitally, forget about it, or don't have time to play it. Eventually get the physical, because I'm like, oh, I'll try it for sure. Then I don't. But I heard really good things about it. The Castlevania Collection. I got this at a store called J2 Games. I've always wanted to play Castlevania, even just seeing Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest from the Angry Video Game Nerd. A part of me always wanted to try it, so I bought this collection for whenever I decided to, or if I ever needed B-roll footage of the Castlevania games. It has like a decent amount of games on here, even some like exclusive stuff like Kid Dracula, which is pretty cool. It's a nice collection. Speaking of collections, Cat Quest, the Furtastic Trilogy, where it has all 3 of the games on one cartridge. That's pretty cool. I feel like it's something adorable and something I'd be into. I know one of my viewers swears by it and adores it. And funny enough, I pre-ordered this on Amazon and meant to cancel it because I was starting to run low on funds, but I forgot to cancel it. So eventually this wound up on my door and I'm like, oh, guess this is part of the collection now. I've spent so much money. Catherine Full Body. This game is pretty interesting itself. It's made by like the Persona team, I think. It definitely made by Atlas, and I don't really know too much about it other than you're moving blocks and it involves a lot of thieves, you know? If you like puzzle games, it's worth a shot trying, and I'd probably give it a shot. Cave Story Plus, another indie game with a physical on Switch that I saw at J2 Games, and I was like, you know what? Let's get a copy of this, because you never know. Other than that, I really don't know anything about the game itself. It's just a cool-looking indie game with cool box art, and I have a problem buying Switch games. Celeste. I need to beat this game. I played a decent amount of it, but it's one of those games where I played a bit of it, got really hooked into it, and then something else came out where I had to put this down. But I got a digital version of it on sale, and eventually, because of how good it was, I got a physical copy through Fangamer. Definitely make a video about it in the future. Chicken Police? Painted red? I'm not gonna lie, I got this for the cover alone. It looks weird. I have no idea what this game is about. But again, it was at J2 Games for the longest time, and it just kept staring me in the face. It's like, what the hell is Chicken Police? I gotta know. One of these days, I'll find out. Clock Tower Rewind, a remake of like the Clock Tower SNES game that was, I believe, only released in Japan. I only know about this game because of a JonTron video, and I was fascinated by it ever since. And eventually, when I heard that Way Forward was making a remake of it, I had to get a copy of it. It's a shame, though. I still haven't played it. I want to save it for, like, a Halloween stream or something, because I feel like I could really get into this, even though I'm not the biggest fan of horror. Coffee Talk and Coffee Talk Episode 2. I love these games so much. This was my first visual novel that I really got into. if you don't count Doki Doki Literature Club, which, yeah, that's different. I love the original Coffee Talk, and it just was so relaxing. The sprite work was fantastic. The drinks looked so delicious. It was one of the first videos I've ever made for the channel, too. And Coffee Talk Episode 2 continues on with the story, still has the same things that make it even greater and improves upon it. And these games have a warm, cozy spot in my heart. They're the games that arguably got me into visual novels, and I love them to death. Cooking Mama Cookstar. This game does not break your Switch, despite rumors, but it does break your sanity because it's a terrible game and Cooking Mama doesn't stop repeating herself. I played this for Twitch Games About Food video years ago, and it not only did the video not do well, this game was bad. It was bad. I probably could have made it just on this game alone, but also I was kind of stretching with stuff to make fun about it because it's basically just unfinished. It's an unfinished game. Unless you want to just get it for your collection, don't even bother. Christ Tales! I don't know what this game is about. I'll be honest with you, I don't. It's one of those games I got where the cover looks cool, and apparently it's an RPG of some sort, maybe? I don't know. Cover looks cool, makes brain go burr, added to collection. Cult of the Lamb! This game is fantastic. I just got sucked into this. I didn't even play the Switch version. I played the Steam version, and one of my favorite things about it was it could connect to Twitch, and followers could raffle themselves to be named after. And it was so much fun. I really loved it a lot. And eventually, I wound up getting it on sale for cheap. I think in the beginning of this year, just because it was, you gotta get a decent sale for it. If you have not played Cult of the Lamb, play this game. You will not regret it. It's so good. And another indie gem, Cuphead. Oh my god. One of the greatest games of 2017. And I know a lot of great games came out that year. I love the animation in this game. It's so beautiful. It's so much attention to detail. It literally looks like a cartoon from the 40s, rubber hose and all. I played the game, beat it, beat the DLC. I even got a Switch copy because I love the game that much. Even if you don't like hard games, if you are a fan of animation, you need to play it. Trust me. Curse to Golf. I'm not gonna lie, I heard about this game from the Nintendo podcast, and I think they interviewed the dev of this game, and I don't know, just something about it intrigued me, so much so that when limited run copies were available, I pre-ordered it, and I got it. It's one of the indie games I definitely want to try out, even though I'm not the biggest fan of golf games, but, you know, worth a shot. Daemon X Machina. I'm not gonna lie, I heard about this through a Nintendo Direct, and that's all I heard about it. I barely even, I just forgot even how I found a copy of this game. I think I got it from a retro game store online, Secret Castle Games, maybe. I saw it, and I was like, this game exists? It didn't get canceled? All I know about this game, it has robots, and when I made a Nintendo Direct reaction, I got copyright claimed because of the music in this game. So I wasn't really that big of a fan of it. And honestly, I think a lot of people forgot about it. But if you're a Daemon X Machina fan, let me know in the comments. Danganronpa. Did I say that right this time? I have no idea. This has the original trilogy, and that's all I know about it. I've watched a few people play this game, and from what I've seen, it can get crazy and off the rails for a visual novel. And there's a very destructive teddy bear in it. I still would want to play it just because of all the crazy crap that I've even just seen out of context. All right, next up, Dark Souls Remastered. Another game that I think launched on Switch or came out early. I know this game is notorious for being very hard, and while I haven't played this one, I have played Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, both not on Switch, so yeah. Probably play this, although probably would be for a charity stream, if anything. I'm not really the biggest Dark Souls fan. Dave the Diver, another cool indie game that not only picks up a lot of traction, but is getting a lot of collabs done. They even collabed with Godzilla of all, and I think Hatsune Miku, or maybe that was just Godzilla who did that. I don't remember. Dave the Diver, as far as I know, you play as a diver who goes to dive during the day and runs a sushi restaurant at night. And the art style is pretty cool, but other than that, I don't really know too much about it. It's just one of those games that got away, even though I feel like I would have loved this game. DC Superhero Girls Team Power. I don't know why I bought this. I think it was on sale, And I think it's a first-party game, technically. It's part of the collection. Why? I don't know, but it is. Dead Cells. It's a game, I don't really know too much about it. I think it's a Metroidvania-like game. I'll be honest, that's all I really know about it. I picked it because I heard a lot of great things, and it looks pretty cool. It's definitely on my list of games to play. I just don't know when I will or if, but it's definitely a fantastic indie game I heard a lot of people talk about. Death Road to Canada. Don't really know about this either. The cover looks cool. I saw it for sale on PlayAsia, and I think it's very similar to Oregon Trail. Cover looks funny though, so I added it to the collection. Speaking of funny looking, Deer Simulator, where you play as a deer. I assume this is a ripoff of Goat Simulator. Again, this is one of those games where the cover just looked too stupid for me not to buy on Amazon and just add to the collection. One of these days I might make a video about it just because it looks absurd, but other than that, I don't see it being that great of a game. Oh god, I forgot about you. Detective Pikachu Returns. One of my least favorite games on the Nintendo Switch. This was one of my first videos with the new thumbnails, and I still hate this game. I still think it's boring. I still think it's repetitive. I think the art style is one of the worst Pokemon has ever done. And the humans look like mobile avatars. They look awful. It feels like a 3DS game that just got shelved until they couldn't shelve it any longer. Do not play this. Maybe the first game's good though. Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. I played this back when it was on Steam, and you know what? It was pretty good. The less you know going into it, the better. And I will say the same thing about Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. I haven't experienced a lot of the extra stuff that came with it, but I feel like I would really enjoy it. I will say one fun moment I have, I did stream this game on Twitch, and I actually wore equivalent of a school uniform. I had this like outfit I wore for college for student government, and I still had it in my closet, and I just put that on, and there you go, school uniform, and I wore it while I was streaming the game. It's just a fun memory I have with it. Donkey Kong HD Returns. I was gonna play this day one, and then they announced the Switch that day, and it just kind of got shelved, and while I opened it, I haven't played it yet. It's on my list of things to do. I want to cover it before the year's end, but I would not be surprised if this game gets forgotten. Which is a shame, because the original Returns I heard is great, and I want to play it and give it a shot, but the remaster itself, I heard is just pretty meh. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is a good game. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze I made a video for very recently. And you know what? I still stand by it. It's a very good game. A bit difficult, so it can be challenging, especially later on in the game. But it's alright. If you want an easier time, you can always go to Funky Mode. Funky Mode is an exclusive mode to the Switch, and it is so much fun. I like it. It's a good balance of difficulty and a platformer, and also just looks amazing. Definitely a fantastic DK platform you should try. Dragon Quest Builders. I thought this game was impossible to get, like the original. I do own Builders 2 as well. This one's a lot harder to get. I actually got this from eBay. It was up for there, and I managed to snipe it and win the bid by a penny. And that's how I got this copy of Dragon Quest Builders. I got very lucky getting this, because I have never seen this in stores otherwise. As for Dragon Quest Builders 2, I actually got this from the Nintendo NYC store. They had it for sale, and always heard great things about it. I've seen good footage of it. I want to give it a shot. Dragon Quest 3 Remake. Oh, I wanted to play this game, but it just slipped through the cracks, and honestly, I feel like I probably would have enjoyed this more than Mario and Luigi Brothers Ship. It looks like a great 2.5D remake, and I feel it just... I don't know, I feel like I would get totally lost into it if I were to try it now. It's definitely on my list. Dragon's Quest Monsters. Basically, the Pokemon equivalent for Dragon Quest, where you don't fight itself, but you instead collect monsters and use them to fight for you. I feel like this looked like a pretty decent game, and probably better than an actual Pokemon game, but it's still an interesting addition to the collection, and I'm sure something Dragon Quest fans will like. Dragon Quest XI. Probably the most well-known Dragon Quest game on the Nintendo Switch, and I heard one of the best. Any one of the Dragon Quest games I listed, I wanted to try, but this one especially, this was the first one that made me go, you know what? Let me try Dragon's Quest. I was able to get it on sale at a decent price, so I finally added it to the collection. Duck Detective, The Secret Salami. I actually got a Switch code digitally from the devs of this game for me to play. It came out the same day Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door came out, but I still wanted to play it, so I played it a couple days after, and Bob's your uncle. I love it. I love the voice acting. I love the design of the duck and all the other characters. It's very goofy and very fun, but at the same time, it can be a bit short. I don't know if getting the physical will be worth it, but definitely give it a try if you're looking for a goofy point-and-click mystery game. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, a classic. And one of the launch titles for, maybe not launch title, but one of the early titles for Switch. And you're able to do so much with your character. I barely played Skyrim, and when I did, I wasn't on the Switch. But I really do want to see what playing Skyrim is like. So I could start it over, play it again, start it over, play it again, and start it over as many times as I want to. Emio the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club. This visual novel really surprised me. Not only because it's a good visual novel, but also how, like, gruesome it is. Like, it's rated M for a reason, and especially the ending. I can't give it away because I don't want to spoil anything, but oh, it deserves that age rating. It's such a great gem, and I love the teaser that came out that made people think it was a horror game, but instead, no, it's a visual novel for a series that hasn't had a new entry in over 30 years. But you know what? It's really good, and I really like it a lot. It was one of my favorite games of last year. Please, even if you don't like visual novels, if you like anything mystery, if you want to try a good detective series, please give it a shot. Endless Ocean Luminous, the only Endless Ocean on the Nintendo Switch, and it's okay. I feel it's beautiful when it comes to exploring and seeing sea life, but at the same time, there's a lot of things I don't like about it. The story mode is kind of abysmal, and the use of, like, AI speech-to-text voice felt lazy. It was lazy as hell. But if you disregard that and just take account, like, the exploring the ocean, being able to see all the fun creatures, it's a really decent game. I still don't think it's worth $60 or even $50, but if you're an ocean fanatic, you might like it. Enter and Exit the Gungeon, a series of games that I think is a roguelike. I never really got into either of these. I just found that there was a combo pack and I could get it physically, and I was like, you know what? Let's add that to the collection. Why not? It looks pretty good, and maybe one day I'll give it a shot. Eternite. I've seen people stream this game, and I played the demo of it during Steam Next Fest. And as soon as I found a copy of it, I wanted to add it to the collection. It's basically a dating sim that takes place in the end of the world. It kind of works almost like Persona in a day system, where you have to woo your partner while also trying to figure out how to save the world. It's really interesting. The art style is a little bit not the best, but it's also an indie game, so you gotta cut it a bit of slack. There's some great things about it, but I really want to experience it for myself to give you a more definite opinion. Everybody won to Switch. Has anyone played this game? I bought it just for the collection alone, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll make a video about this one day. I still haven't. Don't know if I will. This game looks awful. I heard it incorporates your smartphone, so that's a decent thing. But I've never really been interested in it, and I never wanted to try it. It just hasn't been my thing. I don't know. Is it good? Should I make a video about it? Maybe. Bay Farm. I forgot this cozy game came out. Basically, it's another cozy game on the Nintendo Switch, but this time you can be a fairy. It does incorporate some cool things, like I think you can craft. You can definitely, like, go into dungeons. There's a lot of stuff you can do that's more than just Harvest Moon and Animal Crossing. But it didn't really keep my interest too much, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. Plus, it's also $60. That was pretty expensive, too. I just kind of forgot about it. Fashion Dreamer. I was really disappointed in this game when it first came out. I expected something like Style Savvy, and it just wasn't that. They really tried to incorporate the social media influencer thing where dress up in outfits and try to raise your follower count or whatever. I don't know. I just thought it was boring and it didn't really stick with me, and I don't really hear people talking about it much. The main thing I didn't like about it is that if you're a guy, there's really nothing for you to wear. This is more targeted toward the female demographic or the femme-presenting demographic. There's like barely any dude outfits, so that kind of disappointed me. And you can't even wear a dress if you're a dude. That really stinks. Like, I get it if you want to focus on more like femme-presenting clothes, but let everybody wear them. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection, having Final Fantasy 1 through 6 in one cartridge. I got the Japanese version because by the time I got this in my collection, it was very hard to get the ESRB version. I love Final Fantasy, or at least Final Fantasy 6. That's my favorite Final Fantasy of all time. And I bought it just for this collection alone so I could eventually play it on the Switch. I want to try the others. I played the remake of 4, but I do want to try the other games and make a video about them. But Final Fantasies just take a long time. Still, though, the cover looks really cool, and I really love how it represents all the games with their sprite work. And Final Fantasy VI made me a Final Fantasy fan, so if you want a way to play these classic games on the Switch, this is the best way to do it. And you don't need to get it from PlayAsia anymore. Final Fantasy X and X-2, and apparently there's a Pokemon cards in here. I didn't even... How'd they get there? How'd they get there? I've always wanted to play Final Fantasy X, wanted to get a copy of it. This apparently has X-2, but it has X-2 on a code. And I got this used, and I would not be surprised if the code in this box was used. If it's not, great. I could play X-2 as well, but I would not be surprised. I kind of wish both were on the cartridge like a lot of the other collections, but what can you do? Fire Emblem Engage. The latest Fire Emblem to come out, and apparently it's more classic Fire Emblem than a certain famous one. I don't know. The story just couldn't grab me in this one. I just felt it was very cheesy and boring. However, the characters are pretty good, and more importantly, the combat is phenomenal. I remember really enjoying the combat for as long as I did play it, and just thinking it looked flashy, it felt good, each character had their own specific thing to them, and it was a blast. Just the story wasn't my cup of tea, and it stopped me from playing. Fire Emblem Three Hopes. The Dynasty Warriors version of Fire Emblem. I don't have the other Fire Emblem Warriors, unfortunately, but this one's the cooler one because it features Three Houses characters. I want to make a video about this one, but it's been on the back burner for so long. I have a thumbnail ready and everything. It's basically a Fire Emblem game, but with the Dynasty Warriors gameplay of just fighting as many enemies as possible. I think it's fun for the moment I did play it, but I still need to play more of it and eventually beat it in order to form a better opinion of it. But if you like Fire Emblem and Dynasty Warriors, especially if you like Three Houses, give it a shot. Fire Emblem Three Houses, something many people consider to be one of the best Fire Emblems on the Nintendo Switch, if not the. And I love it a lot. It has very Persona-like elements. You have to teach your students throughout the first half of the game and while guiding them through battles. And then there's a time skip where things get really serious. But I really like it. I like the whole befriending student aspect. I love the combat in the game. I love the designs of each character. There's so many memorable characters and students you can recruit and have in your classes. It's my favorite Fire Emblem. It is, and nothing's going to change that. Fitness Boxing 1, 2, and 3. The trilogy is all here. I did play the first one digitally, and then I bought it physical. Because, fun fact, this one, I think, is not even on the eShop anymore. Like, you can only get this physically now. I assume it's because of licensed music or something like that. But it's there. I mean, I own it on my Switch. It's fine, and I don't think this game is in crazy demand. But you never know. I worked out with this one specifically, but the other two I never really played. This one came out really recently, like December of last year. So it's got this franchise is still thriving. Why? I don't know. It does the job, I guess. You are able to work out with these games. But there's another workout game that technically does a lot better. Five Nights at Freddy's. I made a video about this collection specifically, and you can check it out if you want. It's probably one of my most intense videos I've ever done. These games are very cheap jump scares, but they also do a fabulous job of scaring the crap out of me. If you are a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, though, you're probably going to want to stick to the PC version. This version has a lot of issues. There's some glitches. There's some glitches. It feels slow at points. The buttons feel a little weird. You're probably going to want to stick with the PC version, but if you want to play it on your Switch, you totally can. Garden Story, a cute little game where you play as a grape and you like go into dungeons and try and rebuild your valley. I played this on Steam. It was a gift from a viewer, and I really liked it a lot. So much so that when I saw it was available through limited run, I wanted to get a copy of it. It's really nice, it's great, it's really adorable, and I feel like if you're into like dungeon crawlers of any kind, this could be for you. Plus, it's got a cute frog in it. Ghost Parade. I'll be honest, I know nothing about this game. No, I know nothing. The cover art just looks cool, and it was gifted to me by a viewer through my throne. And I only put it on my throne list because it looked cool, and it wasn't too expensive of a Switch game. I might try it just because it looks so weird. Tim Burton-esque with some of these designs, maybe? I'd try it. Go Vacation. I remember Scott the Woz mentioned this particular game, and I realized it wasn't in my collection. So when I saw it was on sale at a local game store, did I buy it online? When I saw it was on sale somewhere, I decided to get it. Apparently it was published by Nintendo? That's cool. They don't use the Miis, which is very weird. I feel like this game you should use the Miis for, but what do I know? I assume it's something similar to Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort with mini games and all, but I don't know. Maybe it's a game I need to try. Golf Story. This game was, I think it was a launch title on the Switch. If not, it was really close. It was an RPG game where you play golf. And this physical version I got pretty recently last year, and I paid a pretty penny for. This cost like over $100 because it was one of Limited Run's first physicals, I think. It's in decent condition too. It's like sealed and all. I'm glad I have it in the collection, honestly. I still need to play it digitally, but I heard really good things about Golf Story. The Good Life. I have no idea what this is. It was on sale for Limited Run, and it looked weird. Apparently, it's a game where you enter a small town and you may or may not transform into a dog. I don't know. This isn't the only weird dog game I have in this collection, so I might make a video about it. Both those weird dog games. But it just seems interesting to me, and I felt like as soon as I saw the trailer, I had to add it to the collection to possibly even make a video about it. Good Pizza, Great Pizza. Another game I got from Limited Run. I love pizza, so I saw that there was a game about pizza, and I wanted to play it. In this game, you basically just make pizzas for customers. And I love the design of the NPCs in this game. They almost look hand-drawn, and they're really adorable. And again, the pizzas looks absolutely delicious. Now I want pizza. Thanks, Good Pizza, Great Pizza. Pizza. Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. Funny enough, I bought this on Nintendo's website, which is so funny that I could buy this straight from Nintendo's website and have it shipped to my house. I heard this trilogy wasn't the best, and it wasn't optimized well, and unfortunately, it looks like a lot of the games are just download required, which sucks. At the same time, it's the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy right on your Switch. I didn't play Grand Theft Auto 3 or Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but I did play Vice City a lot when I first started going to college, and that has a bit of a nostalgic place in my heart. So maybe when the Switch 2 comes out and hopefully this gets more optimized, I hope to play Vice City and the other Grand Theft Auto games. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I was watching a friend stream this game, and while we never finished streaming it, I was intrigued by what I saw. It seems like a great sequel to Ace Attorney, or prequel rather, but the story seems pretty heavy. There's a lot of intriguing characters. The court cases go absolutely insane. This is one of the games that made me want to try Ace Attorney. It does really well. The Grinch Christmas Adventure. I made a video about this. It was bad. This game is terrible. There is some love put into it, and the game actually came with some postcards that looked like Dr. Seuss's original sketch drawings. And if you want to read an audiobook of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, you can. But it just seems like a lazy platformer that they didn't put too much effort into and just try to shelf out the door as soon as they could. Plus, the narrator kind of got on my nerves. If you want more details and more jokes, I made a video. Go check it out. Harvestella. I originally wasn't going to get this game, but I decided to after just randomly playing the demo and randomly falling in love with it. I just got into the combat. I got into the Harvest Moon-like elements. I bought the physical game, played it again, and then haven't touched it since. I feel bad. I feel like Harvestella just came out at the wrong time. Like, it was trying desperately to cash in on the Animal Crossing Harvest Moon phase, And by then, it came out at a time when people were very sick of farm sims, so I just don't think it got the love it deserved. Because there is something good here. There is a decent story from what I saw, and there's some cool combat. So there's something good here. I just think it came out at the wrong time. Has Been Heroes. I'm not gonna lie, I know nothing about this game. The art style looks cool. I got it for pretty cheap. And the font in the, like, sidebar is strangely thicker than every other game. So that's why I added it to the collection. I wish I had a better reason than that, but I don't. Hollow Knight. I've heard so many people rave about this game and how it's a fantastic Metroidvania, how it's one of the greatest indie games ever made, and so many people love it. I haven't played it yet. It hasn't been opened, but it's in the collection for whenever I do decide to play it. Looks cool. I heard it's very hard, so it may not be what I'm into, but especially after trying a bit of Metroid Dread, I do want to add this to my list of games I want to play. When's Silksong coming out, though? Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. I remember playing the Wii U version of this and loving it. Even my mom, who was watching me, was impressed by just how good everything looked on it. I definitely want to give it a shot and try it out and experience this, along with Age of Calamity again, which I don't have a physical for, sadly. I don't know, Dynasty Warrior games aren't my favorite thing in the world, but with Zelda, it's an exception. Plus, as you can see from the cover, there's so many characters in this. Holy crap. Indivisible. Honestly, I know nothing about this one either. The guy at the game store I went to just really recommended it when I was looking for obscure indie games or obscure Switch games that no one really talks about. And funny enough, another friend of mine, when I mentioned I got the game, they seemed like, oh, this game looks good. I know nothing about it otherwise. Apparently, it's an RPG action and platforming adventure. You recruit characters to play, which is really cool. Other than that, I know absolutely nothing, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't intrigued. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. My favorite Kirby game to date, and the first 3D Kirby game. I love this. It genuinely may be one of my top 15 or 20 favorite games on the Nintendo Switch. Maybe even top 10. It's adorable. The level design is fantastic. I love the bosses. I love the music. It's such a good game and really redefined Kirby into something amazing. It reminded me of a platformer I would play back in the PS1 days. Plus, Waddle Dee Town is one of my favorite hub worlds of all time. With the mini games, the way you can just get all the power-ups you want. It's just great. I love it. It's my favorite Kirby game. Kirby Star Allies. I heard not so great things about this game. I know people who either love it or hate it. I still haven't played it yet. Well, actually, that's not true. I played it at a friend's house. It was fine, multiplayer, but nothing too crazy. I only added it on the collection because I got it for a ridiculous... I got it literally half price. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I heard this was pretty good, but not as good as the original Return to Dreamland. It's just one of those games that, like, when it came out, I didn't have the biggest interest in it. And I didn't buy it until the year's end, so I couldn't even, like, try to play it for a end of the year video. It looks cute. It has some extra content with Magalore. That's all I know about it. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series. I believe it's both games in one cartridge. Funny enough, I got it from Secret Castle Games. I just see the tag on it now. It looks cool. I never really into the Klonoa series. I just wanted to get a physical copy of it, and then I couldn't get a physical copy of it. So when I saw a pre-owned copy somewhere, I got it. It's one of the games that's not too high on my list of, oh my god, I need to play this. But it looks cute enough where I think I would enjoy it. Koa, the 5 Pirates of Mana. I think I backed this game on Kickstarter. I know I backed the dev's other game. And one particular game, which we'll get to later in the collection. But it seems like a nice, cute platformer. It looks adorable. It seems action-packed enough. Not really much to say about it other than I think I got this physical as a reward for backing something. I could be wrong, though. Later Alligator. One of my friends is obsessed with this game. It's an interesting visual novel where you have to, like, talk to your alligator family members, and it has a bunch of different endings to it. I know nothing other than that, but it looks adorable. It looks cute. I often confuse it with Little Gator Game, but these are not the same games at all. I don't know too much other than that, but it seems fun. All right, the original launch title, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. one of the best games on the Switch to this day. It changed everything with Zelda, making it more open world, having it so you could go wherever you want, any period of time, where you could fight all the divine beasts. It did so much to change the series. And it took me forever to play it. I actually didn't play it until 2020, literally beating it a couple days before Animal Crossing came out. I spent a decent amount of hours with this. I want to replay it again and make a video about it. I did technically make a video about like how I beat Ganon with no shields and only apples, and that's a whole video in itself. But I want to give this game a proper video, and I might, depending on when the Switch 2 comes out. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. The latest Zelda entry, and the first one where you play as Zelda herself. I made a whole video about this and mentioned it in the Games of the Year video. I liked it a lot. I liked how you can like use echoes to fight for you. I liked how you can like create your own platformers, and how Zelda is like this mage almost who like tames beasts. I like the characters. I like the art style that looks like toys. I felt like the echo menus were a bit rough and almost too clunky, just like the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom menus. But other than that, it's a genuinely adorable game, and I'm glad I played it and beat it. And the other toy game, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I think this is the first Switch Zelda game I played, and it's pretty adorable. It's a remake of the original Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, and the chibi toy art style fits it so well. It's a good standalone Zelda game. It has some great dungeons, great puzzles. There's a dungeon maker that never really went anywhere, and I kind of wish Nintendo made their own dungeon game for Zelda, just like they did with Mario Maker, like a dungeon maker. But they never did, and who knows, maybe they will for Switch 2, but I highly doubt it. It's a cute remake, though, and I'm glad I played it and beat it. The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. Man, I played a decent amount of this game, but I stopped at one point, because when I stopped, Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I had to take priority over that. And my god, though, I love Skyward Sword. I know a lot of people don't like it because of the motion controls and other issues, but one, this one fixes the motion controls, and two, the story is great. It is essentially the Adam and Eve of Zelda. There's some great characters. Groose is one of my favorites. The level designs are great. The areas are great. And I don't know, there's a romance here. It's cute. I like it. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This is probably my favorite game of the year of 2023. At least at the time. I kind of burned myself out with it. I just wound up playing it and streaming it every chance I get. It got to a point where I thought I was about to beat it, and then it was like, there's one more dungeon, and then I was just like, I just stopped. I just couldn't play it anymore. I want to get back to it and eventually beat it, and pray that I don't waste all that time. Anyone else feel burned out by this game? I didn't feel this burned out with Breath of the Wild, but maybe that's because, I don't know. Life is Strange Remastered and Before the Storm, the Arcadia Bay collection. I actually started playing Life is Strange a bit. I think I beat the second episode. It's pretty good so far. It's very emotional. The fact that you're able to make these choices where no matter what you choose, there's consequences. And it just depends on it's less or not of whether you made the right choice, and more on like, are you prepared for the consequences that are going to come from it? I really like that in general, and I really like the story of what's going on with Max. However, this game does get a bit hipster at times, and the Switch version itself, the graphics are a bit rough. I have not played Life is Strange True Colors. This is a sequel that came out. It looks interesting. It looks like I'd probably enjoy it just as much as the other Life is Strange, but I don't know, maybe. Little Guardsman. Fun fact, I actually made an eShop video where I told people to play this game along with many other games. And the devs actually shared it on Twitter. The devs are really nice. And I haven't talked to them other than like a few Twitter and Blue Sky conversations. But they're very nice and sweet, and they were sharing the video. And I appreciate it. And it makes me want to play more games made by this company. And also made me want to buy a physical. Play Little Guardsman. It's a very witty game. It's very adorable. You get like a certain amount of actions to like interrogate people to see whether or not they cross the border. It's almost like a kid's version of Papers, Please. A more lighthearted comedy version of Papers, Please. So if you're into that, you'll like this. Little Friends Puppy Island. I don't know why I bought this. I feel like I really should make a dog Switch game video at this point, because this, I don't know why I got this. I remember originally it was like $60 and I think I got it for like 20. So maybe that's why I bought this. But other than that, it's cute. It looks cute. Little Town Hero, a game made by the same people who made Pokemon. And a lot of people don't like it. It's one of the games I want to see for myself how good or bad it is. Not only because you can't always trust word of mouth, but even if it is terrible, I want to make a video about it. Again, it came out and people just forgot about it. And maybe there is more to this than just, oh, it's bad. Live Alive. I heard this game was phenomenal. And originally it was on the SNES, but it never released in the States until this remake. And you apparently play as a bunch of different stories in a bunch of different time periods. And that, to me, just seems interesting. I don't know if they connect or not, or what have you, but it's always been my list of RPGs to try, but I just never had the chance to, or never had a reason to. Yeah, I'll do it. It's just going to take a bit because of all the other games that are coming out that I have to worry about. Lord Winklebottom Investigates. I looked at this cover, and not only is this game voice acted, it's a point and click game. And it looks as weird, and it's weird. It's very, very weird. Like, everyone talks in like these pompous British accents. So you just see this giraffe going, I say, this murder is quite the stublious endeavor. And the hippo's like, I do say you are right about this, old chap. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I got it from the cover alone, played a bit of it. It's silly. It's silly. If you're looking for a silly point-and-click game, this is probably what you're gonna get. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I was never really a fan of Luigi's Mansion 2, even back on the 3DS. I got it literally just to make a video about it. And it's fine. It frustrated me a lot more than Luigi's Mansion 3 or Luigi's Mansion 1 ever did. And I don't think it's that great. Even though when it comes to a remaster, they really do the bare minimum. It's nothing too special. This game was the last pre-order I ever did with GameStop because they messed up my copy of it and it wasn't ready on time. I actually had to go to a local game store nearby and they had one extra copy that I could get. So I got it. Luigi's Mansion 3. Probably my favorite Luigi's Mansion game. This does so much right. The style of how it looks, the designs of the ghosts, the mechanics of just sucking everything, and just exploring the hotel. Everything is just phenomenal about this. It's probably one of my favorite Switch games to date. Man-Eater, the game where you play as a ravenous shark just causing chaos and havoc. I saw people play this on Twitch, and I'm not gonna lie, I was interested in it. So when I saw a copy of it on eBay, I decided to get it. Have I played it? No, but I want to. I feel like it would just be a fun game to let loose and blow off some steam. So, if you're into that and you want to play as a menacing shark and relive Jaws where you play as the bad guy, this is for you. Mario Golf. One of the sports games Mario had that I just never really got into. I heard it was fine. I never played it. The trailers looked fine, but it just kind of came out and then people just forgot about it. Now, whether it's good or not, I don't know. I haven't played it. But I do want to at least try it before I put it on the shelf, never to play it again. Mario and Luigi Brothership. I tried to like this game. I really did. I wanted to. It's a fine game. It technically made my top 10 list. There's a lot of great things about it, mainly the combat. The combat is so amazing and fluid, and they do a lot with it to make it just one of the best in a Mario RPG. But when it comes to the writing, everything just feels like it just takes forever to get to. Like, I don't know. I just feel bored, and the characters don't really matter that much. The villain is kind of boring. You barely see Peach and Bowser until like a couple hours in. Literally the first couple hours of the game just feel like filler, and it's so annoying. Maybe it gets better as it goes on. I just got bored of it very quickly, and I still haven't beaten it. Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle and Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Both games I really wanted to get into, but never did. I heard Kingdom Battle is technically better, and it's more fun, and they do a lot more with it. And you can probably get both of these games for cheap. I don't know. They just kind of lost my radar. I wasn't able to play a lot of the games that came out in 2017 because I didn't own a Switch in 2018. If I owned a Switch in 2017, yeah, you bet I would have played this. But unfortunately, I just haven't had time. It's basically XCOM, but with Mario. So if you're into that, try these out, I guess. Mario Tennis Aces. I heard this was the best of the Mario sports games, but I don't know. I never really played this one. I never really was interested in Mario sports games. I literally added it here because of the collection. I heard there was a story mode that was pretty good, but other than that, it just kind of didn't really hit me that much. This and Mario Golf are the only two I own. I don't believe I own Mario Strikers, but I'd add it for the collection. I'm just waiting for it to go on sale, possibly for Mario Day this year, which is happening soon. Oh my god, time is flying. Mario versus Donkey Kong. This game, I don't know. It came out on my birthday, funny enough. So what a heck of a birthday present. I think it's fine. It's a fine game. I just never really got into it. It just kind of came and went. It's certainly not worth $50. Not at all. If you got it for $50 like I did, I'm sorry, you wasted your money. It does some great puzzles. It's very interesting, and the fact you're able to clear it out is good, but I just didn't like it that much. I just felt it was boring or difficult or just repetitive. It just felt very, very repetitive. And guess what? When you beat the game, you finish it, the credits roll, and guess what? Now you get to do the hard mode. No, I didn't want to do that. I got a video out of it, which was pretty good, but it didn't do too well, and I'm not surprised. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. I got this game simply because it looks like a rare game, and a lot of people have been waiting for the game to come out. It was apparently a legal nightmare for it to be re-released at all. So the fact that it not only came out, but it got a physical, you bet your butt I am adding this to my collection, just in case it gets taken off the eShop again, which it very well might. We never know. Collection of all sorts of Marvel games, like Marvel vs. Capcom, The Punisher. I punished myself with sneezing. Master Detective Archives Rain Code. Made by the same people who made Danganronpa. It seems fine. I know nothing other than that. It looks interesting. It looks like a Danganronpa game. And you solve mysteries. That's really all I know. The cover alone makes me want to play it, but other than that, maybe I'll try it out. Mega Man X Legacy Collection and Legacy Collection 2. I got this from a friend and bought it from them. I doubt the download code works. In fact, I don't even think it does. So it's just really Mega Man X. But I got it for a decent deal. Like, I got it as a bargain, so... And it goes. I need to play more Mega Man games, but unfortunately, this is the only one I own. I really need to get, like, a collection of the original games on the NES. I think that exists on Switch. Metal Dogs. This game is silly. It's a roguelike where you play as a dog and you, like, use guns and weapons and rockets and... Just look at it. It's so silly. The physical's only available in Japan. I had to get it on eBay in order to buy it. But it's so ridiculous, I want to make a video about it alone. I don't know how. Maybe I'll combine it with a bunch of other weird dog games that you've seen in this collection already. Metal Gear Solid 1 Master Collection, which contains Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3. I never really grew up with these games. I've always wanted to play them. I would play them, but I heard the collection is really not that great. I remember originally it was $60. I waited and got it for like 20. And I hope maybe when the Switch 2 comes out, this collection gets reworked. I want it to be good. I want to play Metal Gear on a system where it plays well. This is a franchise that really hit a chord with people. I want to play it and maybe make a video about it one day. Who knows? Metroid Dread. I am currently in the process of playing this game to make a video for it in the future. Aha, you made it this far, so now you get to learn these secrets. So far, it's pretty fun. It's a Metroidvania, shocker. And it takes place on this planet where you have to find these Emi-bots and see what the heck is going on. And funny enough, they wind up chasing you, where the Dread part comes in. It's this nice little bit of Metroid with some, like, stealth mechanics and just running away from a monster. It almost reminds me of a horror game at points. I'm really enjoying it, and I barely touched it and scratched the surface, so I cannot wait to beat this fully and make a video about it. Metroid Prime Remastered. This was the first Metroid game I ever played. and it's a damn good one. It has some issues, and the backtracking kind of sucks, and I wish there was a few more save points, but other than that, probably my favorite first-person game ever. It does a lot of the world building with the logs. Everything looks so good in this remastered. Like, my God, it looks amazing. This was $40, and it looks better than some $60 remakes. And I just even though I got frustrated, I had a blast with it and beat it. It's so much fun, and it makes me hyped for Metroid Prime 4. Miitopia. I actually played this in 2021, played the demo and got the digital version, and made a bunch of TikToks about it, and a lot of them kind of went viral. It's a lot of fun just to play this game and interact with a bunch of weird characters you make through Mii Maker and have them do weird things. Like I fought with Batman, Isabelle from Animal Crossing, Krunk from Emperor's New Groove, Mater from Cars, Nicolas Cage, and more. The fact that you could do these ridiculous things and cast all these characters as ridiculous Miis really makes the game what it is. Other than that, it's pretty much just an essential adventurer RPG where nothing is special to it. What is special, though, are the Miis. Plus, this game has one of the best Mii creators I've ever seen. Mika and the Witch's Mountain. I love this game. It's adorable. And I actually backed it on Kickstarter. So much so that in the game, if you type in a certain code, you can get a certain package. I'll type the code right here if I remember it. If not, hop in my Twitch and ask about it, and I'll tell you there. It's a game that's pretty much Kiki's Delivery Service the game, where you're a witch who goes into this town in order to train to become a better witch. In order to do that, you have to basically work at the post office and deliver mail. It's really cute, really adorable, has a decent story to it, pretty much like a Studio Ghibli film mixed with Wind Waker. I love it a lot. We yearn for the mines in this collection. God, it feels so weird that a Minecraft movie is coming out, but yeah, I own Minecraft on Switch. I guarantee this is not the best way to play it. So much so, I kind of want to make a video about it and just how it's not a good idea to play Minecraft on Switch compared to the PC version. But I need to experience more of it. It's fine. It does the job okay. But it's nothing too spectacular. If you're gonna play Minecraft, play it on a computer. Mineko's Night Market. I heard about this through Wholesome Games, and it's basically a cute, adorable game where you run your own market in a festival. It looks cute, the art design's great, but I really don't have much to say other than that because I didn't play it. Shocker. Mon-Yu, or as it's called officially, Mon-Yu, defeat monsters and gain strong weapons and armor. You may be defeated, but don't give up. Become stronger. I believe there will be a day where the heroes defeat the Devil King. That's actually what it's called, chat. That's the whole reason why I bought it, that's all. Monster Hunter Rise. I've always wanted to get into the Monster Hunter series. Mostly I just played the demo on the Wii U, but I got this really cheap at Walmart for like 20 bucks, which pretty much is a steal, because I heard really good things about Monster Hunter, and this one in particular. If you want to play it and you want to play it on Switch, I guess start with this one. My Sims Cozy Bundle, which has My Sims and My Sims Kingdom. I heard this remaster is pretty decent. I played a little bit of My Sims, the original, on the Wii, as I imagine a lot of people on the Wii have. It's adorable, it's cute, you can build things and build structures and move furniture, and there's some wizarding elements in My Sims Kingdom. It's cute, it's adorable. And if you're into cozy games, you'll be into this. Needy Streamer Overload Premium Edition. It's a game where you play as a boyfriend of this streamer and basically decide everything she does and when she does it for her channel and help her grow to become a successful streamer. I think, I'll be honest, this was kind of an impulse buy. I figured I could make a video about this, or I don't know. I don't know why I got this. The cover looks cool, though. New Super Lucky Tale, a platformer that I think originally was on Xbox that released on Switch, where you play as a squirrel? I actually don't know what this is. It looks cute and harmless enough. I got it on sale at GameStop, pre-owned. Nothing really to say other than that. Just it looks cute. Nexamon X Nexamon. I have no idea what this is. It looks like a cross between Pokemon and Digimon. I know I got it on sale and it looked pretty cool, so maybe that's something worth playing. A lot of these are impulse buys. I'm sorry. I have nothing more to say than that. Ni no Kuni, The Wrath of the White Witch. I remember watching people play this on PS3 and I was so jealous because I wanted to play. It looked cool. It was animated like a Studio Ghibli film. It was an RPG that had Pokemon elements. It looked so cool. And then eventually it released on Switch and other consoles. And then I was like, maybe I'll play it. To be fair, though, I genuinely want to try it out. And the sequel, which I don't think I own. But at the same time, it looks really cute and probably be something up my alley. Also, I feel like the little yellow critter in the cover could be voiced by Danny DeVito. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. This was a hell of an interesting experiment, wasn't it? Characters from Nickelodeon averse just fight each other. You play as a bunch of different characters from like SpongeBob to Cat Dog, Ren and Stimpy, Powder Toast Man, Reptar. It's a Nickelodeon fan's gaming dream. Basically a Nickelodeon Smash Bros. Caught on enough to make a sequel, which I don't think I own. It's good. I don't know if this one's voice acted or not. They might have added a patch where there's voice acting. I couldn't tell you for sure. Nier Automata. This game fascinates me. Every time I hear someone talk about it or see someone play it, I always try to avoid it because I want to experience it for myself, but it just fascinates me how cool it looks. I don't know. I just really think it's amazing. I like it. It seems like an open world game with a post-apocalyptic setting where you play as robots, and I got it for sale one day at Best Buy, and I've been wanting to play it ever since. And I heard the Switch version really runs good. Like, it runs phenomenally, too. Night in the Woods. One of my first indie games I played, and one of the first indie games I streamed, too. You play as May, who goes back to her hometown after dropping out from college, and you basically just live her life, reconnecting with old friends, discovering things about the town, and maybe even getting into trouble with a certain cult, maybe? Who knows? It's very interesting visual novel. There's a lot of great writing to it. The music is fantastic. It's just such a beautiful game, and I really adore it, and you should play it if you haven't already. Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. This game is pretty entertaining, especially if you grew up with NES games. I didn't, but I will tell you, it's fun completing little challenges, and it's the most fun I've had with NES games. I remember spending hours trying to do stupid little challenges to see if I could increase my high score and get maybe the top percentage of each challenge. I think challenges are still going on, but I'll be honest, I feel like this game needs an update where it adds more NES challenges. Maybe they have and I don't know about it. But other than that, it just kind of died off and got forgotten. But still, I loved it a lot for when I did play it. Nintendo Switch Sports. It's fine, but one, why do you gotta replace the Miis? You had the Miis, they were perfect. Not whatever these guys are. Not to mention, it was one of those sports games where things just trickled. Like, we got golf pretty late. We just got basketball like a year ago, maybe. Why is this taking so long to update? Why not just have everything ready to go? I understand you want to increase the longevity of the game, but that is not the way to do it. I don't know, I just feel like it just kind of got forgotten about. Octopath Traveler. This is an RPG I tried where you can play as 8 different characters in 8 different scenarios, and eventually they all meet and work together, I think. I didn't get that far. I got a decent amount where I played every scenario at least once, and then I had to grind and I just kind of stopped. I still would like to give it a shot again. The art is fantastic. Being the first to really do the 2.5D art style that you see in a lot of RPGs and nowadays. Same goes for Octopath Traveler 2. I heard this was also really good and even better than the first one. I don't know if this also involves 8 different stories or not, but I want to try both of these games. They look cool. Okami. I really want to make a video about this sooner than later, especially with the sequel that got announced at the Game Awards. It's artistic, it represents cool Japanese myths, and look at this box. I wish this came out in the US, but I got this physical through PlayAsia, and it looks amazing. I need to play it again, because I only experienced it through a Let's Play, and I want to experience it for myself. Omori! This is a horror game and a depressing one, but it's also an RPG, heavily inspired by Earthbound. And you can tell based on the combat system and even the art style if you think about it. However, there is some emotional stuff here. There's some scary horror games. There's some surreal horror. There's some weird stuff in this. But it's still a magical game that came out near the tail end of 2020 that is wonderful. I played it and beat it. It made me cry. It's just a fantastic game that you should try out. Go try it. Ooblets. It's a game where you, I think, plant and create these creatures and you make them dance. That's all I know, other than it's cute and I got the physical through Fangamer. It's on my list of games to play. I don't have time. But look at it. It's so cute. I'd play it. The Outbound Ghost. I heard this game had a bit of trouble, actually. Like, originally it was a Paper Mario-inspired game where you play as a ghost, but there was some drama going on with the dev and the publisher, and the Switch version was kind of unplayable. There's a whole thing you can look into it that I don't know the details for, but it looks fine. And apparently things are all squared away now. I could be wrong. So maybe not get this game. Do your research first. Outer Wilds. I heard this game was a hell of an experience. And honestly, I'm really tempted to try it because of it. There's so many people who say this game is one of their favorites and makes them think really deep things about life. I don't know about that. I don't know anything about this. All I know is that I should try it and go in as blind and not knowing anything as possible. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do one day. Owlboy. I know nothing about this other than Owlboy. I think it's a platformer where you just play as an owl and there's some funny characters in it. I don't really know much about it. It looked cool. The cover looked great. I heard about it through the indie grapevine. I wanted it in my collection. Pac-Man World Repack is a fantastic game from what I've heard. I remember looking at it and the guy behind the counter at GameStop was like, dude, this game was my childhood. It's a platformer where you play as Pac-Man, and it looks pretty cool, and it got remastered pretty recently. I don't really know much other than that. Paper Mario, the Origami King. I originally got this digitally during 2020, and I feel mixed about it. I think the presentation, gorgeous. The character design, fantastic. The confetti everywhere, adorable. There's so many great things, like, pleasing to the eye about this. And even the story has some pretty great moments too, even though I never beat it. The combat I find very annoying. Not only is the combat annoying to the point where it takes so long just to fight a guy, but also it's kind of optional. You really don't need to do any of the combat. You don't gain experience or anything. There's no need to do it. You only need to worry about the bosses, which are just paper appliances, for crying out loud. Where are the character bosses? Where's Crump? Where's stuff like that? I don't know. I feel this game did so much right, but it really missed the mark at point. And maybe I want to give it another chance, and I probably will, but it's going to take a bit. However, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door did everything right. This is a remake of one of my favorite GameCube games of all time. Probably one of my favorite games of all time, if I'm being honest. But everything is improved. The mechanics feel better. The moments of backtracking feel a lot less demanding. The music, a lot of people say they don't like, but I really like the remix a lot. And even if you don't like it, you can immediately switch with a badge. Plus, it's the same game you loved and enjoyed with the same characters and the same story. It's my favorite game of 2024, and nothing's gonna change that. Paw Patrol: Mighty Pup Save Adventure Bay. I bought this just in case my nephews were to come over, but my nephews are getting to the point where they're old enough and probably aren't going to play this game, so I bought this for nothing. Maybe I'll play it with the dog video I told you about. Penny's Big Breakaway. This was an indie game that got mentioned in a Nintendo Direct that I feel just a lot of people forgot about, which is a shame, because it looks fun, and I wound up playing the digital version and enjoying it just fine. It reminds me a lot of, like, old school Sonic games. The Sega Dreamcast games, because you play as Penny with her yo-yos, just basically fighting enemies and going through the level, jumping around. It's really cool. It just didn't really stick with me as much compared to other games, and I don't know, I just kind of stopped playing. Maybe one of these days I'll give it a shot again. Pepper Grinder. This game is a game where you play as Pepper, I guess, and just a platformer where you dig around and drill. I don't really know much other than that, other than it's been recommended by a few people I listen to on a podcast, and it's a cool indie game. I always try to buy physicals for indie games whenever I can. I don't know if I can show this one, but this one is called Perky Little Things. And, oh god. Fun fact, the kill screen, someone who worked there was basically like, you gotta play this game. You gotta buy this game. It's one of my favorite games. It's basically an I Spy game, I think, with... If I were to make a video about this, it would probably get instantly demonetized. I might even have to censor this just to be safe, but we'll see. Persona 4 Golden. I got this through limited run, and it's the only Persona game that I own that I have. Well, technically that's not true. I own it, but I haven't played it yet. I heard mixed things about it. I know people who love it. I know people who hate it. I know people who just hate the bear. One of these days, I gotta try it for myself and see how it is. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's golden. Speaking of Persona, Persona 5 Royal. I played the original Persona 5, and I really liked it a lot. But apparently Royal adds on to things, adds more content, adds new characters, and improves a lot of the stuff from the original. I never had time to do it. Persona games are just such a commitment. Playing 3 alone last year was a huge commitment. It took me months. So as much as I do want to try Persona 5, I know it's going to take me a bit to beat it, so... But one of these days I will. Persona 5 Strikers, a spin-off that I believe is like a Dynasty Warriors Persona game, where you just fight a bunch of enemies and stuff. Again, I got this on sale because it was about 20 bucks. A lot of the times, the Persona spin-off games go on sale for a pretty cheap price, so I probably want to do that with the other one. I forget what it's called. Tactics? I almost got that, but I don't think I did, so. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the original trilogy physical cartridge. Just like the other Ace Attorney games, I wanted to play it, bought a physical, but never did. I have a real problem with this series. But whenever I start this, I'm gonna start it with this one, because I heard the original trilogy is so good. Like, so many people just say fantastic things about it. But I haven't played it myself yet. Again, like Persona, it's a commitment. But I'll play it one day. Pikmin 1 and 2. I actually played Pikmin 1 digitally. I bought these individually digitally, and then I bought the physical for it because I could. Pikmin 1 I made a video about, and I think that video turned out well. Pikmin 1 is very frustrating, especially with the Pikmin AI. They feel like toddlers who just want to die. But I still had a lot of fun with it, and it's a game where the more you play it, the more you can improve upon it, and the more you just want to see how good you can do. Pikmin 2 is a bit more frustrating for different reasons, especially with the traps and stuff, but it has been years since I played it, and I haven't played the Switch version. One of these days I want to and make a video about it, and I will. It's on the long list. Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I played this originally on the Wii U, and I got up to the final area and just got stuck on the final boss. I probably could do it again if I really tried hard enough, but I don't know. I just kind of lost interest. And by that time, the Pikmin 3 Deluxe came out, and I got into that. Fun fact, my nephew and I really bonded with this game. He really likes Pikmin. And he liked the 4th Pikmin game, which, Pikmin 4. I know I made a video about this game, and it is such a fantastic, probably one of my favorite Switch games of 2023. They do a lot to the Pikmin formula, especially with Ochi. Ochi is adorable himself. He's an adorable Pikmin dog. He's cute. But they do so much with the exploration, the caves, the dungeons, being able to collect so many things, rescuing people, the Piclopedia, the extra content. I love it. It's such a fantastic game. Honestly, there are times I like it more than Tears of the Kingdom. Pixel Junk Eden 2. I found this randomly at a game store, and I went to the employee and was like, what is this game? And the employee goes, I don't know. And we both just watched a YouTube video about it together, and I can't describe it. It's just very trippy, and it's a game where you make colors happen. I can't explain it. Just look up a video for yourself, and you'll see. And then you'll be like, wow, I kind of want to try this game. The Plucky Squire, the latest addition to my collection, funny enough. Even though the game came out a while ago, the physical came out pretty recently. I think this game's pretty good. It either involves you doing the 2D storybook sections or going into the 3D world outside of the storybook and interacting with other things and other 2D medias. It's a really cool and creative idea. Another fantastic Devolver Digital game. I just think the Switch port is a little bit rough, and you should play it on a different console. Or wait until Switch 2, where hopefully this will be played better. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties Definitive Edition. I found out about this game like a lot of people through an Angry Video Game Nerd episode. And it's just basically a 3DO game where you play as both a plumber and his significant other and try to get them together. But there's also some... there's also a chicken, apparently. This cover is special because this is a special convention cover that they only gave out at the convention. But I guess they had extras for sale. And the only one I could get a copy of was this game. And you know what? It looks much cooler than it actually should be. Like, if you've seen actual footage of the game, this looks nothing like it. But this cover is so cool. Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. I've heard about Pocky and Rocky and how it was, like, on the SNES. But I just saw this very cheap on Amazon and added it to the collection. Nothing more than that. It's cute, and I think it's multiplayer? Don't quote me on that, though. All right, we're getting started with the Pokemon games now. Get ready. Pokken Tournament, the first Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch. I didn't own it until recently, although I own the Wii U version. It's basically a Tekken fighting game with Pokemon characters. It's a Pokemon fighting game. It looks pretty cool. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Terrible remake. I don't know if they rushed it or what, but it just feels like a bad remake of a broken game. I remember playing it and doing a Nuzlocke of it, and while it was fun doing a Nuzlocke, there are a lot of times where the game felt broken, unfinished, and just didn't look good. So I understand why people don't like this game, and it's considered the worst Pokemon game on Switch. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. It's a remake of the original Mystery Dungeon game, which I played on the Game Boy and loved a lot. It's the only Mystery Dungeon I played, though. But still, it seems to be a great remake of it, being loyal to it. I haven't given it a shot myself, but if it's anything like the original, I'm probably gonna love it for its story, the dialogue, and just the Mystery Dungeon style combat. Pokemon Shield. I chose Shield instead of Sword for this one. I don't know why, but I remember really not liking this game, and this being the start of, oh, Pokemon's not that great now, is it? It's a bit rushed, the graphics aren't that great, and a lot of those big story moments just feel like they cut corners with a few things. I don't know. Compared to Scarlet and Violet, this thing runs like a charm, and I understand why they rushed it a bit, because they did. But it really shows in this one. Not as much as the other entries, but it's still not my favorite Pokemon game. I do want to replay it and give it more of a shot. Maybe even do a Nuzlocke of it one day. Or maybe get Sword and do the same. But until then, I don't know. I'll probably replay it again one day. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Arguably the best looking Pokemon game on the Switch. It's a remake of Gen 1. It's a remake of Yellow. Can play as either Pikachu or Eevee, depending on which one you get. And it's fine. It's a nice remake of Gen 1. It's just... I just got bored of it really quickly. Your Pikachu can instantly destroy everything in its path if you let it. And that's okay. But, I don't know. I kind of would rather have just like a full remake of Gen 1 if you're gonna do this. I get why you did Let's Go. I get it. Just give me a full remake. I don't want to play Pikachu. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I have mixed feelings about this game. On one hand, it's one of the most broken games I've ever played in my life. It's glitchy, the graphics don't look good, some areas to this day in 2025 still run terribly, and it's just a buggy, rushed mess. But on the other hand, it's really fun to just go around the world and catch Pokemon. I really wish they polished this game a bit more, because if they just let it sit for another year, I think it would have turned out fine. And probably one of the best games of the year. I just feel like they rushed a lot and did too much in a short amount of time. They need more people to work on these games. Pretty Princess Party. I got this at Kill Screen because it looked like a silly game I can make a one-off video for. And I still haven't done it yet. It's apparently a multiplayer princess game. I don't really know much other than that. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I'm mad I got this when I did. I got this and paid full price for it, and then literally like a month later wound up getting a price drop. And I'm like, come on! You could have done it sooner. I heard it's a good game though. Even the Switch version I heard runs pretty well. Princess Peach Showtime. I like this game a lot more than people gave it credit for. Like, I know a lot of people were just dunking on it and saying it wasn't that great. And sure, it has its faults. It can be a bit too easy. It can lack some focus with the level design of what it wants to do. But I thought they were very creative. I thought it was a fun, entertaining, feel-good game, which is funny because it's made by Feel Good. I like the costumes Peach has. I like all the different things she does with these costumes. I like all the feats and how theatrical it is. I love the whole premise. I even love how there's a whole new villain of Madame Grape instead of just getting Bowser to do it again. There's a lot of good things about this game, and it puts Peach literally in the spotlight. I just hope that they make a sequel where they improve upon a lot of the criticism that this game had and make it better for the future. Puyo Puyo Tetris. A combination of Tetris and Puyo Puyo. I'm sorry, I really don't have much to say about it. I got it at a sale a friend had, and it was part of the bundle, and I got it for like 20 bucks. It's literally in the collection. If you like puzzle games, you'll probably like it. Quake! Limited Run was selling this for pretty cheap, and they're like clearance sale. So I got it for 20 bucks. I don't really know anything else about it. I think it's a shooter. I couldn't tell you otherwise, but it's on Switch, and that's all that matters. Rainbow Billy, The Curse of the Leviathan. I remember playing this game on Steam and thinking it was very cute, very similar to Paper Mario, very colorful and very friendship is the answer. It got a little too dialogue heavy for me, and I think that's why I stopped playing it, because it focused more on the writing than it did the gameplay. But it did involve you like recruiting members to your party to help you out and fight battles. It's a cute game. I guess it's not really that popular though, because I literally got it for $15. Rayman Legends Definitive Edition. I remember owning this on the Wii U and never playing it. And now I own it on the Switch and never played it. Forget if this was a gift someone gave me or if I got it on sale somewhere. I heard great things about Rayman. It was originally going to be a Wii U exclusive, and it's cool to see Ubisoft do a Rayman platformer again. I wish they did more of it. Ring Fit Adventure. Arguably the best workout game ever. You want to defeat enemies? You work out. You want to traverse the area? You either run or do squats. You want to jump in game? You got to raise yourself up. And it's such a good game. There's even a cool story involved with like an evil buff dragon who may be hot to some people, including me. But it's genuinely a very good workout game. Almost too good to the point where I get tired after playing it and I can only play a certain amount of time before my muscles give out. Still, if you want to lose weight or build muscle and you don't want to go to a gym and you want to play Switch, this is a good way to do it. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition. I got this game through Limited Run because I've always been fascinated with the Roller Coaster Tycoon series. Like, the idea of building your own roller coaster just seemed cool to me, and I always wanted to try it, and I was like, ooh, now that I got a physical, I'll totally play it. I never did. Root Film. I found this at another local game store, and just something about the cover fascinates me. Apparently, it's a visual novel that involves making your own film, where you also have to find clues and figure out a mystery of what's going on. It just seems cool and reminds me of a mystery of some sort. I definitely want to try it sometime. The Rose and Camilla Collection, another limited run game I got. And this is a game that reminds me of Punch-Out because it's a Victorian-era game where you slap people. No, that is what you do. You slap people. It seems very funny. And again, has mechanics similar to Punch-Out. And that once I found that out, I had to get a copy of it and try it. Rune Factory 5. I've never really got into the Rune Factory series as much as I wanted to try it. It's basically Harvest Moon meets combat, and that seems like a cool combination to me. I don't really have much to say other than that, but it's a series that's been around for quite a long time. Sakuna of Rice and Rain. I don't really know much about this game other than the fact that you fight monsters, and you also grow crops and restore the fields or whatever. It's a game that I was looking for when I found, was looking for, like, weird Switch games or Switch games not a lot of people are into. And the cover looks pretty dope too. So it's just one of those games that I wanted to try but got lost in when I first started my collection. Shim. This was recommended to me by a friend. It's a game where I think you like travel through droplets. Yeah, you're a droplet who travels through like shadows, jumps from one shadow to the next. And it's a fun little platform that seems not only adorable, but creative how you go through like one area to the next. Plus, look at this art style. It looks really, really cool. Samurai Jack, Battle Through Time. I got this game because I heard that they were like delisting it on Steam, and I wanted a way to physically play it forever because I did not get it right away. This is the Japanese copy, however. I haven't really opened it, so there may not be an English pack. I'm not too sure yet, but it's there if I ever want to play it. Sea of Stars, a fantastic RPG that reminds me so much of Chrono Trigger and has some music that's amazing. You play as these two celestial warriors and their friend named Garl as they work together to defeat these evil monsters and save the world from them. Really interesting game especially if you're like into traditional RPGs and 16-bit sprite work. The sprite work is absolutely gorgeous, and the turn-based combat is some of its best, and I really love it a lot. It's probably one of my favorite games of that year, if I'm being honest with you. The devs actually gave me a digital copy to play on Switch, which I wound up playing on stream and mentioning in my top 10 Switch games of the year video. I definitely want to give it a video of its own because, God, it deserves it. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. This game sucks. It is terrible. It is one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. I even made a video about it if you want to see how terrible it is. You basically play as Shaq trying to fight things in this beat-em-up adventure, and it not only is voice acted bad, it makes terrible pop cultural references that were dated even back then. There's also a Barack Fu as free DLC if you want that. Also dated. Don't play this for the love of God. Shin Megami Tensei 5. This is the original, not the new version that came out recently. I got this pretty cheap because of the new version that came out. Basically like Persona 5 Vanilla compared to Persona 5 Royal. I don't really know what else to say other than that. It was cheap, it was on sale, I added it for the collection. Maybe I'll give it a shot one of these days. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. I love this game. It's a bit difficult, and I struggle with it a lot, and I've only played the one campaign where you play as Shovel Knight. I didn't have time to play the others, but from what I have played, it's such a fantastic pixel art game with great pixel art, fantastic levels, a decent story, and some amazing music. Like, some of the music in this game is downright incredible. I even own all the amiibos as well, which I want to eventually... I really want to play the rest of the game and make a video about it, but just... I suck at this game so badly. I'm really terrible. Civilization 6. I got this game for pretty cheap at a local game store, and I heard it's a decent port of it. I've always wanted to get the Civilization series ever since I watched, like, Game Grumps or I guess Steam Train play it, and it just... I spent an hour watching the VOD and just being so intrigued by it. So, games like Civilization interest me, and I thought I would play it finally, but I don't know. The next Civilization game's coming out soon. That's cool. Silent Hope is an RPG where you play as silent characters. I think. That's all I really know about it. I remember it being mentioned in a Nintendo Direct and thinking the art style looked a bit interesting, but other than that, it just seems like a generic RPG, and I want to be wrong. I feel like this game just kind of got lost in the sea of RPGs, though, especially on a console like the Switch, where there's an RPG releasing almost every day at this point. But I got it on Amazon for cheap and added to the collection. Skull Island Rise of Kong. I made a video about how terrible this game is, and it's one of my best videos to date, if I'm being honest, both in views and in quality. I got so many funny jokes from it. It is terrible. It's rushed. It looks awful. It's horribly played. It is not worth the $30 I spent it on. It's not even worth $10. You do not want this game. It does a disgrace to King Kong himself. You really don't want it. Slime Rancher Portable Edition is adorable. Slime Rancher is a classic indie game where you like play as a slime rancher and just guide slimes through a pen and grow them and take care of them. And that's really all I know about it. I not only bought this because the game is admirable to a lot of people I know, but also, look at this cover. This cover is so cute. It's colorful and adorable. They all look like blobs. Smushy Come Home is an indie game, I believe, made by one guy. And it's an adorable platformer that's kind of similar to a Breath of the Wild, but obviously like toned down a lot, where you play as a mushroom who loses their way from home, and you have to basically explore the backyard wilderness to get back. And you play as a little mushroom, and it's adorable. You get a leaf to like paraglide. You help a bunch of bugs around the area. You collect like forest ingredients and stuff. It's a cute short game. If you're a fan of indie games and platformers, it's a cute short game you're gonna love. Snake Pass. This game is much rarer physically than it is digitally. It's a game where you play as a snake and try and navigate through the jungle. That's all I know about it. I bought it because it's so hard to get a physical copy of this game nowadays. This was like not a launch title, but launched pretty early in the Switch's life. And then Super Rare released a physical version, and it lives up to its name. This cost me a decent amount to get, like I'd say at least $100. Sonic Colors Ultimate. It's a Sonic game, and I think the one on the Wii was favored by a lot. I didn't get a chance to play it, but I did get this for a decent sale. I heard the remaster is not as good as the original on the Wii, which kinda stinks, but yeah, I heard it's playable. Have I played it yet? Of course I haven't. I haven't played a majority of these games. But regardless, it still seems like a fun game that a lot of people could get into. Sonic Forces, one of the first Sonic games on the Switch that I remember, and I remember people dunking on this game, hating it, wanting nothing to do with it. And yet I still know people who love it. I bought it because it was very cheap. I got it for sale for like $20. And you know what? That seems like a deal for me and an addition to collection. So if I ever decide to make a Sonic video of first Sonic games, I can include this one now. Sonic Frontiers, probably the most memorable Sonic game to come out as of recent. It was trying very hard to compare itself to Breath of the Wild, although I don't know if I'd quite go that far. It still did a lot of open world stuff with it, combined with the regular Sonic levels we're used to. It looks pretty cool. It looks robotic and futuristic. There's this robot girl character. I played a decent amount of it, but really didn't get too far, because I played it for a video and then just kind of stopped. Honestly, I kind of want to go back to it and maybe give it a shot of its own when the Switch 2 comes out, because I feel like the Switch version is kind of not the best way to play this game at all. Sonic Superstars, a platformer that came out for Sonic where you could play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy all at once. It seemed like a cute little platformer. The unfortunate thing about it was it came out the same time Super Mario Wonder came out, which kind of shot this in the foot. Sega really needs to stop releasing games at the same time Mario does. Kind of got forgotten, other than like a few Sonic fans. And honestly, the Switch version doesn't even run that well from what I've heard. I got it on sale for pretty cheap, so that's why I added it to the collection. Another Sonic game that's probably going to be on my list for a while. Spiritfarer. This game is very emotional. You basically play as Stella, who runs a boat and takes people who are dying. And the souls of the dead. She gives them a place to stay, does their requests, feeds them, hugs them, and makes them comfortable before they're ready to pass on. This game I have both digitally and physically because it's such an emotional game. I actually wound up playing this quite a lot when my mom passed away. It's a pretty deep game, and it will make you cry multiple times. Splatoon 2, the first Splatoon game on the Switch. And it's pretty good. Even nowadays, when 3 is kind of taken over, it has a decent single-player campaign, still has active multiplayer lobbies, still has some great fun to be had, even if the mechanics are different. And Octo Expansion is magnificent. Still one of the best DLCs Splatoon has ever done to this day. I love it so much. Splatoon 3, the more updated sequel to Splatoon, and the one that really everyone's into. Has a decent single-player campaign and DLC as well, and also, you could just pop it in and have so many people to play with. I'd say the combat and competitiveness is a bit better in Splatoon 2 than 3, but I still adore this game and have played so many hours into this, and in 2. Spyro Reignited Trilogy, a remake of the original trilogy, all in remade and with better animation, more quality of life improvements. Everything just looks like a Pixar movie at points. It's so beautiful. Some games I feel got more quality than others, like the first game and second game got a little bit more of a quality of life difference than the third game. I felt the third one was rather rushed with its remake, but it's still a great way to play the Spyro trilogy. And I think if you like Spyro or grew up with it, or even if you want to get into it now for the first time, this is a great way to do it. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is a fabulous walking simulator, and one of the funniest games I've ever played in my life. I'm serious. I love this game to bits. Even back when it was first on Steam, I remember a friend showing me this and just loving every second of it. And now with the Ultra Deluxe version and the added content, it's so much fun. I literally love everything that narrator says. And there's so many funny moments with the game. I just love it. Star Ocean, the second story R. I know nothing about this game, but it looks like a cool RPG with its art style and mechanics. And I feel it's, a great game to try out. I don't really know much more than that, but it looks fun whenever I see people play it. And it's on my list. Stardew Valley, a true classic. I've played this game since 2017. And I have been addicted ever since. I always love starting a new farm, getting invested in it, and my favorite thing is just playing it in bed while relaxing on my Switch. I even got a physical copy. That's how much I love it. I own it on Steam, I own it on Switch digitally, I own it on Switch physically. Look at this cover, it's adorable. If you are even remotely into any farm sims and have not played Stardew Valley, how? It is the most iconic farm sim of its day. It's one of the most iconic indie games of that decade. Trust me, play Stardew Valley. Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. A remake of the GameCube, Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. And I had a lot of fun when I played it. It is loyal to the original, having a lot of the same characters and story, while also adding some quality of life features. And it's pretty good. I remember having a lot of fun with it. But at the same time, there are some things that are issues with it, like the pacing. I remember some years took a lot longer to get through than I remember back in the day. Other than that, if you're a fan of the original, this is a nice remake to listen to. Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. Unlike A Wonderful Life, I never grew up with this one. It just looked cute and I got it for like 20 bucks. A lot of these games I just picked up because they were on sale. And Story of Seasons is no exception. I remember people saying though that Friends of Mineral Town is a really cute game. And I remember people playing it on the GBA, so seeing it on the Switch seems cool. Stray, yes, the cat game where you are sent underground and must find your way back home with the help of robots, finally found its way on Switch. I remember playing the PS5 version and finding it very interesting. It was very cute with being a cat and all, but also has this cyberpunk and like a post-apocalyptic tone to it, even being strangely serious at points. A lot more serious than I thought it would be. However, I do feel the Switch nowadays runs a little bit rough with it, so you may want to try this on PS5 or PC, if that exists. Alright, you know him, you love him, it's time for Super Mario, starting with Super Mario 3D All-Stars. The limited edition pack that features Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. This one is starting to get harder to find now, which kind of stinks because it's the only way you could play Sunshine and Galaxy on the Switch. It's a fine enough collection, you're able to just play the games as you would. Overall, it's not too special, but to me, I love Sunshine and I love Galaxy, so it's great to play it on the Switch. Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. I played this for the first time with a bunch of friends online, and it was an absolute blast. It's a quintessential Mario 3D platformer, very colorful, very great level design, fun bosses, great stuff. Bowser's Fury, I also played with a friend, and it was just a blast seeing an open world Mario, which I hope to see in the next 3D Mario, if I'm being honest. It was fun working with Bowser Jr., it was cool seeing the giant evil Bowser. It's great, and probably one of the most overlooked of the 3D Marios on the Switch. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, what I consider the best 2D Mario I've ever played. It's so colorful, I love the Wonder Seeds and all the crazy stuff that comes out of them. I love the level design, the quirkiness, the talking flowers, being able to play as all these characters. It's just so cute, colorful, and fun. I genuinely think they really cooked with this game. Super Mario Maker 2. I thought this was a pretty good Mario Maker. I'm glad I was on the Switch and all, but I felt the first one was just made for the Wii U, and it kind of shows. Like, I still have a lot of trouble making courses in dock mode. I mean, it's probably easier I just switch to portable, but I'd rather play docked. And I feel like the first one was just easier to control and play. Meanwhile, this one was fine, but I can see why it didn't take off quite like the first one did. Super Mario Odyssey, my favorite 3D Mario to date. It used to be Sunshine, but then this came in and wow, this one blew me away. The music, the levels, the graphics, everything just looks and is incredible. It's one of my favorite 3D Marios. Probably one of my favorite Switch games to date. Also, it was the first Switch game I ever played. When I finally got a Switch in 2018, I got this game shortly right afterwards, and I don't regret it. Super Mario Party Jamboree, arguably one of the best Mario parties that were released in years. It's a lot of fun. The boards are creative. Single player modes and like the Battle Royale and Bowser levels are all so much fun to play with people online. And it really makes it a lot of fun. Plus, the new boards and return of boards like Western Land are really cool too. The only thing that's a negative about this game is that the turns take a little longer than they should, and the Jamboree buddies are kind of an automatic win button. Other than that, this is one of the greatest Mario parties I've played in years. Super Mario RPG Remake is so good. I finally got to play the original shortly before this came out, and I don't regret it because of how faithful they were in this remake is astounding. Everything looks adorable, and it's like art style now. I love the characters. I love the music. The music is so good. I love this remake to bits, and you should seriously play it if you are a fan of RPGs, or even if you're just a fan of Mario. It's a fantastic RPG to play. I love it. Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. I never played the Monkey Ball series. I got this just because it was on sale for like 30 bucks. I heard it's good, and you play as a monkey, and you rumble, and you like have control a ball. That's really all I know. I know people who love the Monkey Ball series, and others who, like me, who are just think it's okay. But if I ever want to try it, I'm glad I got a bargain for it. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Oh my god. Probably the best Smash game ever made. The amount of detail Masahiro Sakurai put in this, the amount of characters, the amount of stages, the amount of items, assist trophies, so much love went into Ultimate, and it showed. It just feels like a iconic gathering of gaming at this point with all the characters that are in it. From Mario to Link, to Inkling, to even characters like frickin' Sora and Steve from Minecraft. I cannot believe it. It's amazing. At least casually and as a fan. Competitively, I'm not good at this game at all, and honestly, World of Light kinda sucks. Other than that, pretty good. Sushi Striker, The Way of Sushido. This was originally on the 3DS, I think, and I got it for cheap because it was on sale at the game store I went to. It seems fine and cute enough. I haven't really tried it yet. I don't know if it'd really be my game, but it's on my list. Tales of Symphonia Remastered, the most iconic and memorable of the Tales series. I remember this was remade on the Switch, and I was interested in trying it. I know a friend who swears by the Tales of series and wants me to try it, and I'd be lying if I wasn't interested, although I heard this version is kind of buggy. If you want to get it yourself, be wary of that. They might have fixed it, they might not have. I genuinely don't know. I have to play it for myself. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Another Tales of game that I know nothing about, but I got it in a bundle of games with a friend who sold it to me. And again, I want to try the Tales of series as much as I can, so I got it in the collection. There it is. Tachia OLED Edition. Originally, this was on the PlayStation 5 I got a review code of it to play it on PS5, and it was really cool. You play as this girl who lives on an island, and then she gets separated from her family, and she's able to control objects and animals and like possess them and make them do cool things almost. And I really like it a lot. It kind of gives me Odyssey vibes now that I think about it. Only just fits in a more like multicultural setting. The music's great, the environment seems cool. I really want to give this game more of a shot again, and probably play it on the Switch. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection. Collection of how many games? 13! Goddamn. 13 games, including the NES TMNT, that you can play right now if you want to. Not much to say about this one. I tried giving it to one of my nephews for him to play. He didn't last long with it. I don't think he enjoyed it that much. Which is a shame, because I thought he liked Ninja Turtles, but alas. Thunder Ray. I got this from PlayAsia because it's a boxing game that reminds me very much of Punch-Out. And as soon as I saw a physical for it on PlayAsia, I was like, you know what? Let me try this out one of these days if I'm ever in the mood to play Punch-Out, but don't want to play Punch-Out. I haven't tried it yet. I got it pretty recently, actually. But it looks cool. It seems to be a bit more brutal and a bit more graphic than Punch-Out. To the Moon. I love this game. It is one of my favorite games. And believe it or not, it was originally made on RPG Maker of all things, which is crazy to me. Regardless, for the Switch version, they made it with a brand new engine. And even so, it's still one of the most beautiful stories I've ever heard in a game, or I've ever read, rather. It tugs at your heartstrings. It has fantastic music. I don't want to give away too much because it's really one of those games you should experience for yourself. Maybe not the physical. The physical was pretty expensive. It cost me like 80 bucks. But you can get it digitally on sale on the Switch, no problem. And I think that's the best way to play it. So please, play To the Moon. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE. Originally it was on the Wii U, and it was a combination of Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei. And I never got it on the Wii U. In fact, I never really got it on the Switch when it was first released. But I noticed copies of it were getting slim pickings, and I couldn't find it in stores anymore. So eventually, when I found it at a local game store, I just got it. I got it. And I still haven't played it yet. Just like a lot of games on this list. I really need to get on this and play more games, gosh dang it. The combat looks cool. It seems to involve like some pop singers and idol stars maybe. I don't really know much other than that. Trials of Mana. A decent game, I think. I never really got into the Mana series. I don't really have much to say other than that. I heard it's a decent game. Don't quote me on that one. I bought it because it was on sale. Troll and I. Do not buy this game. Do not buy this game. Don't even buy it as a joke. I bought it for like $12 because I figured I'd make a funny video about it. No, this game is legit broken. It was pretty bad when it first came out in 2017, but now I tried loading it and nothing works. Nothing! Like, loading a cutscene takes forever. It loads frame by frame. That's how slow it is. Do not play this game. Tunic! A Zelda-style game where you play as a fox, and that's really all I know about it. I heard it's pretty difficult, but also if you're into, like, old-school top-down Zelda, this is most certainly a game to try. I actually got a physical of it through Fangamer, and I still have it open to this day. I even love how the back of it almost looks like it's the back of a Zelda box. It's really nice touch, and I really love it a lot. I want to play it, but also I don't want to damage the box. God, I hate being a collector sometimes. Undertale, one of the best indie games ever made, and definitely one of the most iconic. People love the characters, people love the music, people love the story. There's so much to love about Undertale, and the fact that it's 10 years old, oh my god. Seriously, if you have not played Undertale, you are missing out on some of the funniest, some of the most heartwarming, some of the most memorable moments I've ever seen in an indie game. I love it and definitely plan to make a video about it for its 10th anniversary. Unicorn Overlord, oh my god, this game surprised me so much. I originally just got it because I heard there was a demo for it and people just kept talking about how great it was. Little did I know, the demo was 7 hours. And after that, it convinced me to buy the full game. And now it's one of my favorite games of 2024. I love it. It's such a great tactics game. It has so many memorable characters. Everyone talks in ye olde English, and it fits the time period perfectly. I love it. If you are a fan of Fire Emblem or any games like that, please try Unicorn Overlord. You could try the demo. It lasts for 7 hours. Unravel 2. I really don't know much about this one, as I guess it's a co-op game where you play as 2 yarn people. I just got it at Walmart for sale for like $20. We're at you at this point. I'm running out of things to say for some of these. WarioWare, get it together. I got this from a friend who was selling it, and it seems like a fun party game. I managed to play it over another friend's house, and we were able to have some great time playing the reaction games and using the Joy-Cons and stuff. But overall, and even Move It, which I don't own, It's fine. It's a fun little party game. I don't really see myself using the Joy-Cons that much, so I never really got into this game. We love Katamari Reroll. Such a weird game where you play, I think, as the King of Cosmos, and just roll around with items. It's very Japanese. I have nothing more to say other than I think we should roll with it and play this game more. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This was one of the first games I got at Kill Screen Games. I've always wanted to play The Witcher. I felt it was a fantastic open world game based on what I've seen of it, but I never had time to do it. And so I wanted to get the Switch version because I heard the Switch version actually runs decently. I don't know for sure though, but from what I've seen of this game, it is worth all the praise it deserves. It's such a magical open world game that you will get lost in if you allow yourself to do it. The Wonderful 101. I actually tried this game very recently, because a friend recommended it to me. And while I really didn't get that far, I got to the first couple levels. The characters are all great. I love the characters, I love the presentation, I love the music, the design. The thing I struggle with it is the controls for the Switch version. I don't know if it's any better for the Wii U version, but it just felt awkward using the right stick to, like, move your characters to form certain weapons. And I just struggled a lot with it and the camera. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot another day, but I really wasn't that big of a fan of it, sadly. World of Horror. I know nothing about this game other than the surreal images that came with the trailer. I got it from Fangamer only because everything just looks dark and creepy, and I'm almost afraid to try it, but I am saving it for a pretty good Halloween. The World Ends With You Final Remix. I heard good things about this game on the DS originally, and as soon as I found out it was on Switch, I was like, maybe I could play it. I'd probably give it a shot. I got it from Kill Screen for a pretty decent price, too. I don't know if it's any good or not. I don't know if this is a sequel or original or not, but regardless, I definitely want to add it to my list of things to try. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I love this game, even though a lot of people don't. Fun fact, I actually own the original Xenoblade Chronicles physically now, but my girlfriend is using it to play it for the first time. But Xenoblade 2, a lot of people give it flack for it because there's a lot of fan service. The voice acting's a little wonky, and there's some stuff wrong with it, especially with, like, the blades and such. Oh, and the tutorials are kind of awful, too. But get through all that, and you have a really good story with some really good characters that, while I don't feel is as good as the first one, it's still a magnificent game and one of my favorites. I love it to death. I played it right when Xenoblade 3 came out, right before then, and I've loved it ever since. Speaking of, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, probably my favorite game on the Switch, hands down. This game is such an emotional roller coaster. I adore it. I love the 6 characters you play as. I love just exploring around the world of Ionios. I love the story and all the twists and turns and symbolism it does. My God, this game made me cry so hard multiple times. It hits you and just keeps punching you in the face with emotion. Seriously, there's one chapter. If you know how much it hurts. While I recommend you playing Xenoblade 1 and 2 first, this is my favorite for sure, and I love it to bits. I really, really do. Please play Xenoblade, please. Yars Rising. This was recommended to me by my friend Mantelferox, because they grew up with Yars on the Atari, and this is like a Way Forward made like a successor to it? Remake? I'm not really sure. I actually managed to get a copy of it right away and pre-ordered it when it first came out, which I'm glad I did because it sold out pretty quickly. I don't think a lot of copies of this were probably made. It was mentioned in an Indie World Direct and then forgotten about, which is a shame because it looks pretty cool and I love anything Way Forward does. Yoshi's Crafted World. I haven't played this one. I've barely played Woolly World, but from what I heard, it's not as good as Woolly World, but still cute. It's still pretty cute. You play as a Yarn Yoshi exploring the Yarn world, and it's a 2D side-scroller, and it looks pretty good. Definitely want to give it a shot, but part of me wishes that Woolly World was also on Nintendo Switch. Maybe one day. YouTuber's Life 2. I bought this on Amazon almost as a joke because I'm a YouTuber. I literally made this joke last year. didn't I? One of the ideas I want to do with this is if I ever make this into a YouTube video, I want to make a video about how I make a video, similar to how Categoris did it years ago, with how he makes videos. And this would be a good video to make it with. Ys 9 and Ys 10 Nordics. I actually got exposed to the Ys series recently. Not through 9. I bought this because of a random recommendation. I was asking the guy over the counter, what are some weird or interesting Switch games no one ever plays? And they recommended this game to me. And I was like, cool. I never played it. I played the beginning of this because of a demo. The demo for the game was available, and I got hooked on it. And then I played it, pre-ordered the game, got a physical copy of it. And then I haven't played it since because I don't have time. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Either way, they're pretty good games that I definitely really like a lot. And I want to get more into the series. So hopefully I get the chance to. And finally, the last game, Zombie Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol. I know this was originally on the SNES, and a lot of people are into it. But if I'm being honest, I got this game because it was cheap. And it was a nice addition to the collection. I almost dropped it. It's a nice addition to the collection and a good last game to have. Oh, my voice! God, I've been talking for so long. Wow, that's a lot of Switch games. I'm honestly surprised you listened to me talk for this long. The Switch is arguably Nintendo's best console with one of the biggest libraries to date, and it's kinda bittersweet to see it go. While I'm looking forward to the Switch 2, I appreciate just how magnificent the Switch era was for Nintendo. It had some of the best games from certain series, and I think it's worth celebrating. Happy birthday, Nintendo Switch! Thanks for 8 years of fantastic games. Now the real question is, how much will a Switch 2 collection steal from my wallet? Probably a lot. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and check out my other videos too. Special thanks to all the people who helped me out with the video. I couldn't have done it without all of you. Also, an extra special thanks to my Patreon patrons, including Mantelferox and Savacom. If you'd like to join the Patreon, the link is in the description below, along with my Blue Sky, Twitch, and Instagram. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good night.